Hello my friends, how are you doing today? In this video I would like to show you the build I've been using for, well actually, I think somewhere around 2 years now. It's a Vamping build, and even though you've been able to see a sneak peek of the build in previous videos probably, I've never really broken down the build and explained how it works. So that's what I'm going to be doing in this video. This is going to be a part 1 of 2 most likely, where I'll be showing you the first parts in the Eden training ballroom, and in the next video we're going to go out into the world and go to a few exceptional places where either the strategy is a little bit different or some monsters need a unique approach. Yeah, let's jump right into items, skills, and general playstyle. I'll just be going through my inventory first, show you all the items I'm carrying and why I'm carrying them. So to start off, let's have a look at the first item, which is a grape. Now, why do I carry grapes? There are some situations where as a professor you might get stuck on 1 to 5 SP, meaning you won't be able to use your health conversion to get XP back. So in the case this happens, what I do is I pop just 1 grape and I'll be able to use a health conversion again, because grapes give more than 5 SP. And the reason I'm using grapes over grape juice is only because of the weight. They weigh 10% of what grape juice does, you hardly have to carry any of them, and they are good in a pinch when you're out of SP. The next item, just a white potion I use for situations where it looks like I'm not gonna be able to kill the mob. Sometimes I use white raffle sap, which you can buy in Mora. They are a little bit more powerful than condensed white potions, but they do have a cooldown. Next item would be the panacea, well, general all-purpose item for when you're under crowd control. The monster's feed for my pet, obviously. Some yig leaves in case one of my teammates goes down. Then I've got the awakening potion, which of course every professor uses for their attack speed. Next up is a level 5 heal scroll. The reason I'm carrying this is so that I can equip my healing ring and use it in a pinch whenever one of my teammates is about to go down, because it heals for quite a bit actually. Next item on the list is Cursed Water. This is an item you'll be using when you want to endow your weapon with shadow property, in case you're fighting holy monsters, which are a big deal for us to take down. They can't be hit by our magic 9 out of 10 times. The next item is the Seismic Elemental Converter, which recently has been changed to a duration of 10 minutes rather than 3 minutes, and ever since that change happened, I figured, I probably don't need Seismic Weapon anymore, which means this is 2 skill points that I'm saving, and that's what makes me not have to choose between level 8 Safety Wall or level 8 Thunderstorm anymore. I can just go level 10 on both, which is nice. The next item would be the Schwarzwald Pine Jubilee, a very important item because, well, we are a mage at the end of the day. Our defenses are not as strong as, let's say, that of a monk or a knight. So we're going to need to find a way to mitigate damage. And one of those ways would be Perfect Dodge. Now, the reason Perfect Dodge, I personally think, is so much better than Flee and Death is because it doesn't decay with the amount of monsters you have around you. As far as Flee goes and Death goes, they both get a 10% penalty when an additional monster is around you. So 10 or 11 monsters, it's kind of like you have no Flee at all. And we don't want that when we're mobbing. I mean, we've got a Baphomet card for a reason, and that is to splash. Let's see, next item, Juicy Mango, that's for the Jaguar pet. The special bonbon I use in case my pet's intimacy drops. I've used both pets and I still need to get my attack speed up, because bonus for, hold on, let me have a look at the eggs. The bonus for the pets is a constant 5% attack speed, which I really need in this build. Next item is the Dullahan's Ale. Adds 10 perfect dodge for 20 minutes. Now, as you've seen, this one adds 20 perfect dodge for 10 minutes. So, for 20 minutes, if you want to have 30p dodge, you can pop a Pine Jubilee every 10 minutes, a Dullahan's Ale every 20 minutes. This stacks, so it will give you a total of 30 perfect dodge, which is more than enough to evade most damage. Next page, we're going to be looking at gears. I have a Orleans server. The reason I prefer the Orleans server is because on every set I'll be using the Orleans uniform anyway. Now, Orleans uniform makes your casting uninterruptible, but it also gives you a penalty to your casting time by 15%. And with the Orleans glove and the shield combo, I get another reduced casting time by 10%. Now, this is really good to tackle the 15% penalty in case you want to go instant cast, which you can with 2 Beelzebub cards, and I personally prefer relying on the Isilla trigger. 60% from the Beelzebub gloves and 50% from the Isilla card makes it instant cast. I'll show you in a second. Next item would be, well, I already talked about the armors. Shields. Shields I have 3 kinds of. That's the Golden Thief Bug, it's the Hodrimlin card for all purpose, and the Royal Guard in case I'm fighting an MVP, like Dark Lord for instance. Armors, I would highly recommend, if you do decide to try out this build, to get the Orleans uniform with a +3 attack speed enchantment, because there are only so many items to draw attack speed from, and if you want to be able to use sniper cards and a Baphomet card in your weapon, you really want to draw attack speed from anywhere you can. So the armor types I've gathered are fire armor, shadow armor, wind armor, holy armor, water armor, poison armor, earth armor, and then there is the RSX armor, the frozen armor, and last but certainly not least, the Orc Lord armor, which is the best all-purpose armor. I'll explain why in a sec. Let's see, what else do we have? We have 2 clips, one a teleport clip to get around, the other a blast clip for Magnum Break, because as soon as you use Magnum Break for the next 10 seconds you will get an additional 20% attack power as fire damage. Another item I'm using, well, this is a wedding ring because I married my linker. This item, Lesser Elemental Ring. The reason I'm carrying this is for monster property actually. We professors have a skill called monster property where we can see what makes a monster what it is, but the Lesser Elemental Ring also auto-casts that on auto attacks. So again, another skill point that we can save. Next item would be, well, the Orleans Gloves of Big Mouth, which I've already explained. That it's the gloves for the 10% extra reduction with the shield, and Beelzebub cards. This is for instant cast mode. Guzli to go to Moscovia. Blackout Bradium earrings. Now normally someone would use alchemy gloves most of the time. They have +1 int, 10% extra fire element damage, and they can cast fireballs. We'll be using the imp card with this, and the blackout Bradium earring is really just the other side of it. Whenever there's something that is immune to fire, I switch to lightning, and usually this gets the job done. Another fun item to play around with is the telekinetic orb, which has a chance of triggering a side thresher, pushing all the monsters back. This is the kind of item you would be using if you wanted to control a group of monsters or try and keep them away from the party. You'll load a fireball in your auto spell, 2 telekinetic orbs, whack away, and they will just get pushed aside constantly. The Ignite Alchemy Glove, well, doesn't really need an explanation. It's pretty self-explanatory. Then there's another item called the Little Angel Doll that I sometimes use. It casts a level 3 Grand Cross, and the cool thing about Grand Cross is it's a mix of magic and melee, meaning that it gets boosted by both your physical and your magical damage, and it triggers from sniper cards, so you can actually heal yourself with it. Very cool. Another item is the Holy Marching Hat. I'm sure you've seen before, a lot of classes use them. I have mine with a Vamping card. Probably should have put a Faithful Manager in it. And what this does is it gives you a holy weapon, holy property on your weapon for when you're fighting shadow monsters. I'll be showing this in a second also. Now we go to the mids, which I think are the most important and most interesting items. Here we have the Vamping. When doing a physical attack, add a small chance to increase your critical rate by 100 for 5 seconds. Now, we don't have a lot of dex, therefore we don't have a lot of hit. Our crit is pretty low also, so we're going to run into problems when we're hitting monsters. And the crit kind of takes care of that. The cool thing is that it triggers off Baphomet, but also off the Reflect from Orklord card, for instance. Meaning that Orklord card gives Vamping a higher uptime, therefore making it easier for tanking loads of monsters, because if you crit more, you'll heal more, you'll sustain more. Next up is the Faithful Manager card. I have to say, even though the Faithful Manager card is a really good item, it is more for a physical professor. It can't really find its place in a magic build. Cool thing is the extra attack speed you get with every Book of Refine, so really the only reason, or the only times I use the Faithful Manager card is when my pet has lost his loyalty and I need to get to 190 attack speed. With Agi and Blessing and the Faithful Manager's 4%, I get just enough to hit 190. The next item is, well, the Isila card. Already explained, this was my first mid card ever. I love it. Absolutely love it, because with low dex this allows you to still get to instant cast. And last but not least, no, I already talked about the Vamping. Yeah, that's the mids. Now a really special item which a lot of people ask me, really? On a prof? Yes. Megging Yards on a prof, a wonderful, wonderful item. Because even with a magic build, if you encounter, say, a shadow or a holy property monster that is not getting damaged enough by your magic spells, put on the Megging Yards, switch to either Cursed Water or Holy Marching Hat, and you'll be hitting them 1k each physical attack, which is more than enough to take most of them down. On the last page, well, the only thing I really have here is the Red Blood, Crystal Blue, and Wind of Verdure for the Elemental Endows. Now, if I didn't need Land Protector, I probably wouldn't even put the points in the Frost Endows or the Land Magics. Even though they're really nifty when you're doing physical damage, it's a lot of skill points that I would have loved to spend elsewhere. Would have loved to get either Firewall, Soul Exchange, Spiderweb, you name it. Abracadabra is a good contender also, but it's along the same skill line again. So, why these skills? Well, let me show you. The reason we are going for fire and wind and not water or earth and another element is, first of all, because our earth damage is not really all that great. We've got Earth Spike, which does not really combo with the auto spell or the double casting, so it kind of feels like we are leaving some good skills behind if we're going the Earth Water route. Earth Water is really good for sages though, because they do not have access to double casting, so you could actually make a pretty good Heaven's Drive Water Ball build. But sticking to the professor side of it all, I would like to focus on fire and wind. So, as I've explained, the earth element is really not something that's all that great for damage. The reason we go fire earth is because my fire spell cannot hit a water ball. My fire spell can hit an earth ball, but it cannot hit the fireball. It can hit the wind ball, and that's it. So basically, fire on earth and wind, wind on water and fire. If I were to get firebolt and water, cold bolt for instance, so fire and cold bolt, let's see what would happen. Water ball. Hey, okay, so this is water element, which means my fire won't be able to hit it, but my water won't be able to hit it either. So if I were to pick fire and water, I now can't attack water enemies anymore. I won't be able to hit them with magic. So that's why we go fire earth, to be able to make sure that we can hit these 4 elements. Now for all the other elements, it's usually best to go to a physical build. So let's try out let's try out without megging yards first. So this is our standard damage, about 300, 400. Same on the holy, 300, 400. Now when we swip to the megging yards, we get a good 500 to 600. Swap to napalm bead to make it a little easier to see. So 500 to 600, but of course we don't have an end out yet. So let's give that a try. Smack it for a little while. Still pretty much on the 500s. Boom, we're going to 800, 900, almost up to 1k. And if we switch to the Cajos now, we're well over 1k on Shadow. But of course, there's not only Shadow, there is also Holy, and for that we use a Cursed Water. And now we're hitting them for roughly 1k as well. So really, Shadow and Holy monsters, I don't think professors are actually supposed to be able to kill them. I think they're more for other classes to take care of. That seems to be the general philosophy for Ragnarok. But with a little bit of tricks, we will be able to take them down. I'm not sure if you can hear it, but there's an alarm going off right now. It's the first Monday of the month. Hope it's not going to be too interfering. Next part. Yeah, I would like to show you what fire damage looks like physically. So let's give ourselves a fire endow. Get a volcano down. And let's give that Magnum Break a try. 1600 physical damage. That's quite a bunch. For a magic build professor, that is quite a lot. So, yes, I am a fan of Megs on Prof. I think they're even better than Brisiferous. So, that pretty much takes care of all of the items. Yes, it does. Let's go on to the next step. What else could I talk about? Well, the stats are pretty self-explanatory. 98 int to be able to get the maximum out of Professor card. I think 96 is the cutoff, but 98 makes for a little bit more magical damage. No luck, sadly. I'm a great fan of luck because of the perfect dodge, but that's more for a Lady Tani build, full physical. Vit is not maxed, but it's okay. It stops most of the effects, and not to mention we are professors. We have Wall of Fog, so we can stop a good deal of crowd controlling effects either way. 42 AGM, 34 Dex are pretty much to finish off the 190 attack speed with all of the items equipped. So that's a quick introduction into the build, how it works, and in the next video I would like to show you some world examples of the build, because there are some monsters that are tricky to take down. For instance, Ice Titans have a lot of death, and with this build, when you that's the weird thing about it. When you attack one Ice Titan, you are sure to die, because you will not be able to leech HP because your physical damage is going to be around 20, 30, etc. But as soon as that Vamping triggers, you will go into, well, basically full crit mode and start bypassing the defense of the Ice Titans. So we want that Vamping to trigger against Ice Titans, and with a Baphomet card, that's, well, an extra chance on every physical hit for every monster that we hit with the splash, meaning more uptime for the Vampire card. And again, this is also somewhere where the Orc Lord card is going to help immensely. Cool thing about Orc Lord card is the Reflect even works through safety walls. So let's say safety wall stops a physical attack, the Reflect still happens and your weapon can still leech with the sniper cards. So sometimes when you have a mob on you and it's not looking too great, the only thing you really need to do is safety wall yourself. Spam it, spam it, spam it. Well, hopefully a little bit faster than that. But yeah, you spam it, spam it, spam it, and your HP will just go up due to Reflect. Let's see if we can get a little Isilla trigger also, because I've shown you the physical part of it, but not the magical instant cast yet. And the way this works is pretty much the same way as the Vamping. The Isilla card can also trigger from multiple targets, so that's why I like using Napalm Beat and Fireball. Fireball is my preference, but sometimes a monster can't be hit by fire and we switch to Napalm Beat. I'm Fire and Doubt. So that's the Isilla. When it triggers, I have a good 5 seconds of instant cast, and these consecutive thunderstorms, whenever I'm in a mob, will also start triggering the Isilla again. So what you usually notice is you're going in for the physical attack, whack them a few times. As soon as the first Isilla triggers, that's when you run away from the mob. You no longer want to tank them, you just want to guide them and drop some thunderstorms. As far as, well, physical damage goes, I'm pretty sure everyone is aware of how it works right now. By now, is you cast, hit, you step, and you cast and hit again. And you don't always need to step. Magic Rod is really one of those multifunctional skills that professors get. When you're attacking something and you want to cast in between, when I'm already casting, it's really tough to get, when I'm already attacking, I mean, it's really tough to get that cast in. Look, I'm clicking, but no safety wall cast, it just doesn't register because my character is too busy with the physical attacks. Okay, that's one safety wall. Now the easiest way to get around this would be to use Magic Rod. Let's say I have 10 monsters around me, I need to keep refreshing my safety walls. What I do is I attack, Magic Rod, safety wall, and attack again. Magic Rod, safety wall, attack again. And this also goes for casting spells. Let's say I want to get a firewall in. Magic Rod, firebolt. Didn't need to say firewall, obviously. Firebolt. So Magic Rod, cast, and attack. So you'll be keeping your eye on your ACD most times. After you've cast a bolt or a safety wall, as soon as the ACD is up, Magic Rod and use another skill again. Very important to learn how to use Magic Rod to stop your attacks. I think that's just about everything I can talk about in the training room. So I'm gonna end the video, think about the things I want to show in the real world, and get back to you in hopefully a week, maybe 2. See you later.